What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Skylar and Pedro here. Check it out, check it out. Deck tech time. You guys know what we got coming up. I just built this baby not too long ago. You seen in a pack pulling, we pulled her. And here you have Balan, the Wandering Knight. Now this is the anime art style of it. They do have an older version of it that's a different cat. But we went with the anime art style to build it. And basically, she has first strike. She has double strike as long as 2 or more equipments are attached to it. And for a colorless and a white, you attach all equipment to her. So, basically, this is an artifact equipment deck. And we're just trying to make her as big as possible. Swing in for trample, double damage. Get at least 3 equipment on her. There is 1 token I know for sure I produce. And that is an angel token. So I do have that. Other than that, we're just going to get right into the deck tech.
And what's up, everybody? Skylar here. I'm behind the camera. And just so you know, if you watched Jump Started Box opening, we did pull her. You will be able to see it with the other cards that we pulled in the Jump Start box.
Go check out that video.
Yes. And hit like and subscribe. And always, thank you guys for always watching. Make sure we're trying to grow as fast as possible, trying to get us out there, trying to take however long it takes to grow, no matter what. We trying to produce good content and everything for you guys.
Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, starting off, first creature, Foundry Inspector. Artifacts cost 1 less. Very important in this deck, makes everything cheap. Verge Rangers. You may look at the top card of your library. As long as an opponent controls more lands than you, you can play lands from the top of your library. Very nice for ramping. This is to protect the commander. Bastion Protector. Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. Pure Steel Paladin. You already know this is a staple in equipment decks. Whenever equipment enters the battlefield, you draw a card. If you control 3 or more equipments, equip is 0. Now this guy right here, very powerful card in here. Stone Hoyer Giant. 3 colorless, 2 white. For 1 colorless and a white, you can tap him. Search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield, and attach it to a creature. He is a 4/4. But we're not swinging with him. We're using him to search. He does have vigilance. This is a nice other cat, Leonin Chikari. You may play equip abilities. Anytime you can play instant. So on an opponent's turn, on our turn, it don't matter. We're going to be equipping like crazy.
Basically Flash.
Basically Flash is what it is. Sun Titan, we have a lot of creatures that are under 3, a lot of equipment that are under 3, so Sun Titan to hit the field and be able to return it. Oswald Field Blender, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for an artifact card with commander cost 1 or more. Of course, searching, very important. Heavenly Blade Master, flying double strike, enters the battlefield. You may attach any number of equipment and auras to it. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. So, in case we need to switch all the equipments over, she's a beater. Leonid Abunis. Artifacts you control can't be the targets of spells and abilities your components control. So, aka Shroud, Hexproof, they can't touch it. Relic Seeker, if he deals damage, put a +1/+1 counter on her, he becomes renowned. Look for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield. Never Neve Blackerton. This is actually Danatha. I don't know how to say that. Capuchin Paragon. This is a secret layer card. First strike, vigilance, lifelinks, and or an equipment spells you cast cost 1 less. But the original card of this is a lot cheaper than the secret layer, so you can get that version if you would like. I just like to be fancy sometimes. Indomitable Archangel. Artifacts you control have Shroud as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Chajnor Swordsmith. When he enters the battlefield, pay X. Look for your library for X and attach it to a creature. Scram Senior Edificer. Staple in, of course. Whenever you cast an aura and equipment spell, draw a card. Zamriel Seraph of Steel. Flying, as long as it's your turn. Equip creatures you control have indestructible. So, protect our commander some more. You got Danatha. First strike, vigilance, lifelink. Enters the battlefield. You may put an aura and equipment card from your hand onto the graveyard. Or the graveyard attached to her. This Skylar's favorite card, Archean of Emissar or Emiria. Flying. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Non-basic land your opponent controls enters the battlefield tap.
That is not my favorite card, people. He says that because I like to play my AC.
Yep, so it makes everything come into play tap, makes everything slow down, and we just keep going. Swing in, swing in.
Also, we will have the deck list in a affiliate link.
In the description.
And he dropped the card, people. Sorry.
Drop the card.
And if you wonder why Pedro sounds different, because he is
I am a little sick. A little sick. So, this guy right here, Dig Site Engineer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact creature you control. I do have some construct tokens. I just have to go grab them. A Chroma Vision of Exodor. She has +1/+1 for everything that has flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, and so on. So she gets +1/+1 for each of those, as long as your creatures have it. Armored Sky Hunter. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put an or an equipment card onto the battlefield. If an equipment card was put onto the battlefield this way, you can attach it to a creature you control. He's real nice. Staple in this deck. Armored Sky Hunter, 3 colorless and a white. Another staple in this deck. Arden Interpret Archaeologist. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of ores and equipment you control to a target permanent or player. So it allows us to switch our equipment without having to pay the cost. That's it for creatures. Not really that many creatures in here. It's mostly artifacts, which we got good old Soul Ring, Failware Stone, Key to the City. Discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn, so make sure our kitty cat swings and doesn't get scratched. Archomancer map. Enters the battlefield. Search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent control, if that player controls more lands than you, you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. This is white, so we got to ramp as much as we can. Arcane Signet as well. Crawl Space. I kind of threw this in here because I don't want no more than 2 creatures attacking me, just in case they get rid of my commander or they try and overrun us with a sword of creatures. It stops them from at least attacking with only 2. Kite Sail, give her flying, +1/+0. Gold Veiled Pick, create treasure tokens when it deals damage. Robe of Stars, very important. Equipped creature gets +2 or +0/+3. Astral Projection for 1 colorless and a white, it phases out. So that's including all the equipment attached to it.
What is a quite?
Quite. Can't speak over here. Sorry about that. Trailblazer Boots, very handy in Commander because everybody plays non-basic lands and you have non-basic land walk. So you're basically swinging in, no problem. Caldra Complete, living weapon, indestructible, gets +5/+5, has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile that creature. Nasty. Blackbade Reforge, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Now that's real crazy. Thran Power Suit, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each ore and equipment attached to it, and it has Ward 2. Golem Skin Gauntlets, equipped creature gets +1/0 for each equipment attached to it. So as you see, our lady gets pretty big if we let it, or if they let us, I should say. Sword of Animus, equipped creature gets +1/+1 whenever it deals damage. Of course, we're ramping again, getting some more basic lands. Haunted Cloak gives it vigilance, trample, and haste. 3 very important things we need. Mask of Avacyn gives her hexproof and +1/+2. But the most important thing is the hexproof. Argenton Armor. Equipped creature gets +6/+6, and when it equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent. So that's on attack trigger. Destroy something and swing in. Sword of Vengeance. Equipped creature gets +2/0, has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Harrow's Hairbloom. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, and as long as it's a legendary, it gets trample and haste. Colossal Hammer, very strong card in here for 1 colorless. Equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. Nim Death Mantle. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has Intimidate, so allows us to swing in as long as nobody's playing white. becomes a black zombie, so white or black, and another non-token creature is put into the graveyard. You can pay 4 and bring it back at the end of step. Moon Silver Spleer. Equipped creature creates angels when it deals damage. 4/4 angels.
That's why the token's in there.
Scrata Sith. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a land card, exile it. Then shuffle your library. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as exiled card. Now that's nice. Get a plains and just get +1/+1 for each plains we have. So just in case we kind of get somewhere in a tight pickle, Cloud Steel Hearing, when it's equipped, we can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game.
Tops.
Ballistic Collar, equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. Swiftfoot Boots, Hexproof and Haste. Max of Memory, equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. You may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. Got some more equipment coming up. Got it right here. Masterwork of Ingenuity has a copy of equipment card. One of my favorites in this deck. Bloodforged Battle Axe gets +2/+0 whenever it deals damage. Create a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. So it gets kind of out of hand once you start dealing damage. Lion Sash, exile cards from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on it. So it allows us to exile stuff out of graveyards and power up our creature. Rose Gloves, deal damage, draw a card. Another way to protect us. We're getting into the instants and sorceries. Endowment Will, target creature gets +2/+2 and gains indestructible. Now this right here, even though it is an equipment deck, we have some enchantments in here. All that glitters. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So the artifact part is very important for us. Ethereal Armor, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. It has first strike. Chains of Custody, enchanted creature. When enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent a component controls until Chains of Custody leaves the battlefield. It has Ward 2. Mantle of Ancients allows us to bring back basically all of our aura and equipment cards from the graveyard to the battlefield attached to a enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. That's not including whatever the auras and equipments give to it. Authorities of Consuls, creatures your opponent controls enter the battlefield tap. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Just added these cards not too long ago, but Sajiri Shelter, target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. And then on the back side of it is a land, so double card. Lauren's Escape, target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Scry 1. Single combat, border wipe, choose our commander, sacrifice all the rest. Undo Inversion, destroy all non-land permanents. But same thing, has a land on the back just in case we need it for a land. Multi-use, Vanquish of Horde, in case the battlefield gets kind of crazy, we could go ahead and board wipe. Now this lady is just for the red players, anybody trying to do non-combat damage. If it'll be dealt to me or the other permanents you control, prevent it all. So Blasphemous Act will not work on us. Temple of False Gods, Castle of Ardenvale, just in case I got to create a human and attach equipment to it. Command Tower, Roadside Reliquary, draw a card if you control an artifact and draw a card if you control an enchantment. So if we control both, we draw both. Rogue's Passage, 4 colorless, make our creature unblockable. Exotic Orchard, Windbrisk Heights, Hideaway, may play an exile card without paying its mana cost if you attack with 3 or more creatures. And then we got the Plains that ended off. Nice little shiny Plains. And that's it for the deck tech. This deck, I gotta tell you guys, even budget wise, is very powerful. She basically is powerful just because that effect right there. Colorless and a white, attach all equipment. So anything you have on the field will give her haste and be able to swing in any turn you play her. But that's it for this week's video. Till next time, guys.
So we got a recording setup video coming soon where you can see our recording setup. It's rather nice. You guys will probably like it the most. So, peace out.
Peace out, everybody. Stay tuned.